Right now, Gaza is facing one of the most severe humanitarian moments, and a new decision by Israel has intensified global concern. This week, Israel enforced a ban that strips dozens of international aid organizations of their legal right to operate in Gaza and the occupied West Bank. For Palestinians already struggling with hunger, disease, and destroyed infrastructure, the move would sharply reduce the access to life-saving assistance. The ban affects 37 international organizations, including Doctors Without Borders and the Norwegian Refugee Council, groups that run hospitals, clinics, shelters, and emergency services across Gaza. Israel says the decision is about security. It argues that aid groups must now meet new registration rules, including providing detailed personal data on staff, funding sources, and internal operations. Officials claim this is necessary to prevent links to armed groups like Hamas or Palestinian Islamic Jihad, though no evidence has been publicly presented. Aid groups and human rights organizations inside Israel say the real impact is far more dangerous. 17 Israeli human rights organizations, including B'Tselem and Physicians for Human Rights Israel, warned that the rules undermine humanitarian neutrality and put Palestinian staff at risk. They say forcing NGOs to hand over sensitive personal information exposes aid workers and their families to surveillance and harm. The timing of the ban matters. Israel is still waging war in Gaza, where food, medicine, and clean water remain scarce. Even under the current ceasefire, aid deliveries fall well short of what is needed. Meanwhile, Israeli military operations in the occupied West Bank have displaced tens of thousands of Palestinians, actions that rights groups say amount to war crimes. Against that backdrop, United Nations Human Rights Chief Volker Turk described the ban as part of a wider pattern of unlawful restrictions on humanitarian access. Doctors Without Borders says Gaza's health system is already shattered. Hospitals are overwhelmed, infrastructure is destroyed, and people are struggling to survive. MSF warns that if deregistered, it would be effectively blocked from Gaza, where it supports 1 in 5 hospital beds and 1 in 3 births. Former UN humanitarian chief Martin Griffiths said these organizations are not marginal players. They are the last mile of aid delivery, the people who physically get assistance to families in need. International reaction has been swift. The Organization of Islamic Cooperation condemned Israel's move, warning it will worsen Gaza's humanitarian catastrophe and violates international humanitarian law, including rulings from the International Court of Justice. A group of Western governments, including the UK, France, Canada, Japan, and Sweden, issued a joint statement saying international NGOs are essential and that blocking their work is unacceptable. European Union's humanitarian chief said plainly that blocking NGOs means blocking life-saving aid. Israel rejects that criticism. Its Ministry of Diaspora Affairs says fewer than 15% of NGOs were found non-compliant and insists aid will continue through approved channels, including the UN agencies. Israel military body COGAT claims the affected NGOs contributed only a small share of aid deliveries during the ceasefire. Aid organizations strongly dispute that framing. Oxfam says humanitarian impact is not measured by volume alone. NGOs provide expertise, logistics, community networks, and staffing that UN agencies rely on to function. Without them, system collapse. The Norwegian Refugee Council says if deregistered, it will no longer be able to bring foreign staff into Gaza. Its local Palestinian employees will continue working, but under severe risk. The group says sharing a staff list is dangerous, especially after hundreds of aid workers have been killed during the war. MSF has also rejected allegations of militant links, saying it would never knowingly employ anyone involved in armed activity and that unproven claims put medical staff in danger. So what does this mean going forward? Israel says humanitarian assistance is welcome, but only on its terms. Aid groups argue those terms violate international law and core humanitarian principles. For Gaza's civilians, the consequences are immediate: less medical care, less shelter, less food, and fewer people able to deliver help on the ground. For more such explainers, subscribe to DawnNews English.